Health Watson Clinic, Lakeland Highlands Hospital. My name is Amy Wiggins, and I have the pleasure of serving as the President and CEO of the Lakeland Chamber of Commerce. Politics in the Park has been a long-standing tradition with the Chamber because we recognize the importance of informed voters and accessible elected officials. We also recognize the importance of local media, and that's why we're grateful and honored to partner with Lakeland Now to host tonight's candidate forum. If you're a Lakeland Now board member or a Chamber board member, would you please stand so that this group of folks can recognize you and your commitment to making this event possible? Thank you. As I've mentioned, Politics in the Park and so many of our incredible community events are only possible because of the support of our sponsors, including Orlando Health Watson Clinic, Lakeland Highlands Hospital. So I'd like to welcome Carlos Carrasco, who's the Senior Vice President of Orlando Health's Midwest Florida region, to join me at the podium. Carlos has been with Orlando Health for nearly 30 years, serving in various roles, his most recent being president of Orlando Health Jewett Orthopedic Institute. Carlos earned a Bachelor of Science in Occupational Therapy from the Medical University of South Carolina and a Master of Business Administration from Webster University. He oversees the strategic development and operational performance of services provided throughout Polk County, including the Orlando Health Watson Clinic, Lakeland Highlands Hospital. He also leads the planning and growth initiatives aimed at expanding advanced clinical services and strengthening healthcare access for our community. Carlos?
Well, that'll make me feel old. It's actually past 30 years now. Yeah, it just happened.
It's okay. Nobody's counting.
I started when I was 10. So, wonderful to see all of you. I'm Carlos Carrasco, the president of Orlando Health Watson Clinic, Lakeland Highlands Hospital. We're opening up in the summer of 2026. It's a 7-story facility, 306 beds. We'll be providing emergency care, heart care, neuroscience care, surgical care, women's services, large ICU. Really proud and excited for the opportunity to bring Orlando Health Hospital to Polk County, and grateful for the incredibly warm welcome that we've gotten from this community. So thank you. Orlando Health was founded over 100 years ago, where our mission is to improve the health and quality of life of the individuals and communities we serve. Last year, Orlando Health provided nearly $1.7 billion in community impact in the form of community benefit programs and services, community building activities, and capital investments across the system. We're deeply invested in the well-being of our communities and recognize that strong leadership is essential for a thriving city, and we are proud to partner with the Lakeland Chamber of Commerce as a presenting sponsor of this year's Politics in the Park. So thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this community. We're very grateful.
I would be remiss if I didn't also thank our supporting sponsors for this evening. Our incredible candidate reception was sponsored by the Sun newspapers. Our gold sponsor this evening is Borum Fire Protection. Patron sponsor, Bank of Central Florida, and tonight's live stream that's being streamed on Lakeland Now's YouTube channel, thanks to Citrus Connection. So join me in thanking all of you. So in addition to all of their tables around the room where you've already visited and spoken to some of the candidates, we are offering tonight our mayoral and city commission candidates the opportunity to share their visions for our community. It's now my pleasure to welcome Cindy Glover to tell us more about tonight's forum. Cindy is a senior contributor with Lakeland Now. Her career has included journalism, education, digital marketing, and public relations, and she spent a year as the community engagement coordinator for the city of Lakeland before joining Lakeland Now. She continues to empower young people as a licensed foster parent and volunteer with Heartland for Children, and apparently if you've got a kitten, she's the place to go. You'll ask her about that after the forum, please. Cindy will be supported by Anna Toms, who is our timekeeper for this evening. So she's got a very important job because we have a lot to get through, and it is still a school night, and we want to get home before too late. So, Cindy, the podium is yours.
My goodness, that would make me blush. Well, thank you so much for the warm welcome, and we are just going to jump right into it. This evening, we are going to start with District D Southeast. I'm going to need that.
This one's not looking right.
Can we please get up on the stage, incumbent Commissioner Mike Music and challenger Kim Marie Noble, and your first test is to find your spot. Alrighty. Yep, find your seats. Okay, so we are going to be giving you the same question. For the first question, I think we will start with Commissioner Music. And then for the second question, we will start with Ms. Noble. So, Commissioner Music, what should the city do going forward to help the residents of Lake Bonny, which is in the Southeast District?
Is this working? What should the city of Lakeland do to help the residents of Lake Bonny
Yes, going forward.
going forward? Thank you. Mike Music is my name. As it was stated, you know, I was very proud of how the city of Lakeland handled the Hurricane Milton with Lake Bonny. Initially, headache, right? Tons and tons of water coming into a lake that had historically not seen the amount of water that it has seen. And I'm sorry, how long do we have for this? How much can I speak?
Well, yeah, I have actually erred a little bit by asking you the question before I gave you the chance to introduce yourselves. So take 2 minutes on this
Okay.
question,
Okay.
and then I'm going to remedy my error and let you guys do your intros.
Okay,
But
so,
yes.
but you want to answer this one first. Okay,
Keep going.
so it's all speak a little quicker. Yeah, so I was very proud of how we handled that. When you look at Lake Bonny, it is an issue that is greater than the lake itself. When we first moved here in 1977, we rented a house on Lake Bonny. It had a very long dock, and I remember walking out to the end as a 7-year-old. There was no water underneath of it. That's the change that has happened over the 50 years there, water going up and down. But that lake is part county and surrounding areas, part city, and we have to deal with FEMA. We have the St. Johns River. We have the watershed system past Lake Parker. It's a very, very difficult situation for us to look and say, here's what the city should do. But I'm going to answer it very, very simply. What the city should do for the residents of Lake Bonny is to continue to be an advocate and to push forward for them to have a solution, because it is not a one-part solution. It is not, oh, we're just going to take and pump this water out and move it to Lake Parker, right? Because I'm not a hydrologist, but I understand if I have 2 cups side by side and I fill it in one, what is it going to do? It's going to pour on the ground or go into the other one. That's what will happen with Lake Parker. The water is just going to come right on back. So it's going to be the circle. So we've got to push farther down. We've got to listen. I think we've done a great job. I have been an advocate for them. I have given them my phone number. I have written checks. I'm going to do all I can to continue to be an advocate and push for them, and I believe the city will do the same.
Thank you so much. All right,
Same question.
So unfortunately, what they had to deal with was terrible. The water levels kept rising even after the rain had stopped, and it took 41 days for them to get pumped out. 41 days. I understand that it's city, it's county, and we do need help from the state. I would hope that the city in the future would have a centralized hub where there are people from the city, from the committee, from the county, and from state that you can go to immediately to rectify a situation faster than we did. I get you did everything in your power to help at that time. It happened, and now we need to do everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen again. There were 3 possibilities brought to the table. I think those were just done with research findings, and there haven't been boots on the ground yet to actually see if any three of those are viable solutions. Meanwhile, these people are in a panic still to this day. PTSD, they have panic attacks in the middle of the night from watching sewage rise in their homes, watching the water rise, and trying to figure out a way out. You might say it's a 100-year flood, but Mother Nature doesn't have a timetable. It can happen again next year. So we need to work faster and have the solutions ready. Again, I would love to have a centralized hub or network of people from the county, city, and state to make sure that we can get there and do it better. Dredging is not a possibility, I think, with Lake Bonny. The pump is insufficient, and the canal is insufficient. So all of these are issues to be taken into account. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now apologies to the audience and to the candidates, because I really threw you into it. But let's give these wonderful folks who have put themselves out there a chance to tell us about themselves and about their visions and their ideas. And no pressure, but you've only got 2 minutes. Let's go ahead and start with Kimmery Noble, please.
Okay. Hello, Kimmery Noble, Lakeland resident of almost 18 years. I've been at Chili's Lakeside for just that long. I would like to bring a different perspective to the commission, one that's from the working people. I love that we have wonderful businesses here, and we have them represented on the commission. The workers don't feel represented. I know that because I speak to them on a daily basis when they walk through my doors at Chili's. I wanted to do something, that is why I'm up here now. I felt like discussing it with my friends was no longer a viable option. I needed to put my butt out there and get with the people and do something. I know what it's like when I was growing up in New York. After my parents' divorce, we couldn't afford oil. That's how we heated our homes up north. You get oil and the water heater heats that way. My brother would have to walk and get diesel to put in the tank because we couldn't afford the delivery for that month. We were the recipients of the Thanksgiving basket from the post office because we couldn't afford food for the holidays. I understand what it's like, and I know what it's like to work 2 and 3 jobs and raise a son on my own. I've had a wonderful community. I have an amazing partner that helps me. But it's not always a possibility to turn to your neighbor and say, hey, help me out. So I want to be that person to help others out when they don't know where to turn. I thank you for this opportunity, and I really hope to get your vote on November 4th. Oh, and community engagement. I've been out there. I've been talking to the people, and 95% of the people I spoke to had no idea that an election was even happening November 4th. So I'm the big mouth, and I'm letting people know. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Music, your turn.
Thank you. My name is Mike Music. I would like my wife to stand up. She didn't know how to do this, but this is my wife, Nikki. My daughter, Britton. Her boyfriend, Chase. My son, Remington. His daughter, his wife, and my granddaughter, Akshaya and Ovia. And that and you all is why I'm here. I've lived here, I said, since 1977. My family moved down from Pennsylvania. My dad was a teacher for 50 plus years until he passed away. And my wife and I raised 3 children here. My oldest son is over on the coast in chiropractic school right now. And every day when I get up and when I go to the city commission meetings and we have things in front of us, what I think about is how does it affect your family, my family, our little ones, and the ones that aren't even born yet. When we look at this beautiful building here, right, this was built in the late 50s. We're still enjoying a decision that our city leaders made all that time ago. And that's what I want to make sure that I do. I'm a small business owner. I have a construction and roofing company that I started when my wife and I first got married. We're coming up on 27 years now. And we have been struggling and poor a lot longer than we have not been poor. And God has seen us through that. We have worked our tail off. My wife is a nursing professor at Polk State University. And as I'm sitting here behind this orange tablecloth, let me just say thank you to Orlando Health. My wife and I traveled over to Orlando for my cancer treatment that we just finished up a couple of months ago, and bringing them to our city is just an asset that goes along, and I want to say thank you.
Alrighty. Well, now we have another question, and this time we are going to reverse the order. And so, we're starting with Kim Marie Noble. Thinking about the Southeast District, what community or population do you think is the most underserved in your district, and how would you help them?
The renters are the most underserved. I don't think they're thought about. I know that's a horrible thing to say, but I am a renter. I know that we need more community engagement there. There were neighborhood associations that are defunct. They're no longer operating, and I would like to change that. The people that I speak to, they're from all over Lakeland. I don't know exactly what the Southeast needs. I know I would like the park to be usable again. We have a boardwalk that is falling apart. It's been falling apart for 2 years, but we have a brand new park that's being funded over on the west side. So I would like my park to be usable. Maybe some traffic issues on the southeast side. You know, South Florida is very packed. Other than that, speaking to the people that are living in those apartments, again, they don't even know what a commissioner does. That was another question I got. They didn't know about the local elections. So I really believe that the outreach needs to be from us to them. We feel like the community needs to come to us for everything. We have it on a website. Some pages are outdated by 2 years. We post things online. Boost a post every now and again. I know we had this online, and I still see only a fraction of the community that we have. So I'll be knocking on those doors more to ask exactly what they need in our Southeast District. But I believe we work for all of Lakeland, and that's been my focus. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, Commissioner Music, I'll repeat the question. What community or population, thinking about the Southeast District, do you think is the most underserved, and how would you help them?
Yeah, that's really a great question. When you look at the 4 sections of our county, you know, our southeast section that we represent is some of the oldest development, right? When you look over at the southwest, you look at the other 2 as well. They still have land that can be developed. We've seen a great boom over there on the southwest side. So we have a lot of establishment that is very, very entrenched in the Southeast District. I would agree with Kim Marie, and that is we have a lot of single-family homes that are renters. Those houses have been purchased by a lot of national renters. We do a lot of work with them, and I see that as an area where our values are rising and our rent is rising quicker than the individuals can afford, right? I introduced you to my kids. They're the age where they're trying to find homes and to buy homes, and I want them to be able to live close to me. Well, the Southeast District is expensive. It's a very expensive part of town. And I think if they need anything, they need a voice that is willing to look and to say, what we need is for the single-family homes that are renters, that and there's nothing we can do to control rent costs, right? I mean, and we shouldn't. That is not something that the city of Lakeland and the commissioners should ever do. But what we should do is we should, when we can approve apartments, when we can approve single-family and multi-family dwellings, make sure that we are doing the best we can to have the density enough that the economics works for those. Thank you, sorry, over time.
All right, can we please have a round of applause for our District D Southeast candidates? And you guys are now free to leave the hot seat. Phew. All right, and while they are making their way down, can we please welcome the candidates for District C Southwest? And that would be Ashley Troutman and Dennis Odisho. Your turn in the hot seat. But before we turn the temperature on that seat up at all, we will let you both have a chance to introduce yourselves for 2 minutes and tell folks a little bit about who you are and what your vision is. So we should probably start alphabetically. So let's give Dennis Odisho the first crack at introducing himself in 2 minutes.
Hey, good seeing you. Are we standing up for this one? I gotta match this guy's energy. So the last four, every time he stood, I gotta stand. What are we doing? Stand. All right, here we go. All right. So, first off, I want to thank my friend Ashley. We serve on the same board of directors together at Lakeland Regional Health. He's a great guy and a good friend of mine. And this is how elections should be ran, right? I'm tired of the criticism and the hatred and just the nastiness on both sides of the aisles these days. It's really unappealing to me. But I joined this race because I could have chosen to live anywhere in the state of Florida. I've worked in every major metropolitan in the entire state. Is that better? Cool. And I just fell in love with this place. Back in 2008, I came here after we were completing Special Operations Command, a big project on MacDill Air Force Base, and a superintendent of mine lived in Caroline Lakes. So we went over to the house. He had a great New Year's Eve party, gave me a tour of the city the next day, and it was instant. I mean, I just knew this is where I wanted to be, and where I wanted to invest my time, money, and resources and bring my family. I have a little 10-year-old. He probably doesn't even hear a word I'm saying. There he is. Hi, Mikey. It's good to see you, man. So I'm a single dad, 10-year-old, so it's the laundry, it's the food, the activities, the sports, the school. And there's no other city I'd want him to grow up in. I mean, regardless of the outcome of this election, my home is here, and I plan on staying here. And I believe that we need a special skill set right now. I mean, I'm a builder. I started at 18 as a union laborer in Northwest Indiana, Chicagoland, and worked my way up the executive level to project director of all healthcare operations for a $2 billion a year firm. So it's that skill set that translates directly to what we're facing. A major problem is growth and development, right? Growth and development. And as someone who's negotiated, executed, and pursued over $850 million worth of work, I feel that I'm really geared well for this. Sorry, 15.
Thank you very much. All right, and next up, Ashley Troutman. Please tell us about yourself in 2 minutes.
Good evening. You all know me in this community. I've been involved in a number of capacities, starting in 2003, during my senior year at University of South Florida. I started volunteering as a youth basketball coach down in Simpson Park. From there, I started volunteering in candidate races on the political scene in 2007. On and on and on is going all the way up to the level of Board of Trustee membership at Polk State College. I say that only to say this: I know this community and I know it well. I know not only what it has been because of my ancestors and their time in this community. Not long ago, just a generation ago, my mom attended segregated schools. My uncles were not able to play golf at Cleveland Heights Golf Course. Just a generation ago, my mom was being assaulted on the avenue of 2nd Street in MLK by a group of ravaging men wanting to get after her. I know what that is, but I know what it can be. And what it can become is a city that has an opportunity for all people at all levels, where everybody can have a runaway towards prosperity, no matter if they're a young family like mine or an older citizen that's looking to be established. What it can become is a city that also has a elevated quality of life for all citizens to participate in. And what it also can become is a city and a community that has jobs and opportunities that raises the tide, raises the boat of our household incomes here in this I-4 corridor. I'm Ashley Troutman. I would love your vote on November 4th, and I'll be here ready to answer some more questions.
All right, well, as luck would have it, we have a few more questions. Imagine that. All right, so we are going to start with you, Mr. Troutman, for this round. And the question is this: how would you, as a commissioner, balance Lakeland Linder International Airport's role as a driver of economic growth with resident concerns about noise and traffic?
Mr. Odisho mentioned skill set in his presentation. The skill set that I bring to the table is the opportunity or the ability to listen well with intention and listen well with the opportunity to understand the situation. I've learned that in 20 years of being in the business of financial services. There's no more important thing that we have to do in order to have an opportunity to affect change in a tense and where varied opinions are viewed when you listen. And you listen to understand. How we would balance that is by bringing those residents together at the table along with the airport officials to understand what the residents need, but also understanding what the airport needs. It can work. Look at Lake Nona in Orlando. There's not many people that would not want to live in the Lake Nona area, and it has some of the wealthiest families in Central Florida living in that area along with a very thriving airport. It can happen. We just have to come to the table, have an understanding of what each party needs, seeking to understand, listening well first, and then making decisions as a commission on what those outcomes need to be. But that's the opportunity that we have in any tough situation. It's to first seek to understand before we start leading with ideas and opinions.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Odisho, same question to you. How would you, as a commissioner, balance Lakeland Linder International Airport's role as a driver of economic growth with resident concerns about noise and traffic?
Sure, I think it's important. We all know how important the airport is, right? Obviously, the stakeholders are very important. The residents of the neighborhood, the airport officials, what we can and can't do. But I think there's opportunities for more growth there. Plus, I'd like to see a little more transparency in the contracts that we've got with some of the firms that are located there. Amazon being one of them. Read an article this week about a local firm that has a pretty sweet deal on real estate prices. And I just want to make sure that we've got somebody who understands the art of negotiating and understands having leverage, and that at no other point in time, this city is positioned for just incredible growth, and not knick-knack growth. I'm talking Fortune 500s, companies that could really raise the bar, raise the standard of living while lowering the cost of living and offsetting, the tax base, the funds that we're obligated to pay for our city services. So I think it's a lot about talking and communicating, coordinating services, but absolutely bringing all the stakeholders to the table and getting their opinions, and then making a decision and taking action on it.
Thank you very much. But don't get too comfortable, because question number 2 is for you first. All right, so question number 2. If Lakeland were to lose a major stream of funding, what in the city budget would you be willing to cut?
All right. Okay, it's hard to answer this question because someone's going to end up hating me, right? But I think we address the needs before we address the wants, right? Our infrastructure, our development, our business climate that we need to create. Cindy, seriously? Someone's going to end up hating me in this room. I'm a big fan of the arts, so you know where I'm headed with this, right? Murals and everything, I understand it's important. I believe in the arts and culture. But again, what are the city's needs versus what our wants are? And I get it. Some of these programs and things we have mean a lot to people. But that's where you got to come in and make some really tough decisions at times. And I'm not afraid to do that. As a no-party affiliate, I don't belong to the Republican Party. I don't belong to the Democrat Party. I belong to the city of Lakeland and its residents who vote me in. And that's what I'm asking for you to do on November 4th. I hope you share your vote with me, and I won't let you down.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Troutman, same question to you. If Lakeland were to lose a major stream of funding, what in the city budget would you be willing to cut?
Thank you for the question. The first thing that we have to do is make sure that we follow the core principles of governing. And the core principle I believe that governing is that the city government should not be overburdensome or costly to its residents. Secondly, we have to make sure that we understand that nothing is more important than keeping the citizens safe. How we do that is through police and fire. We shore those up first, and then we look at opportunities within the budget to align our dollars with where we want to go as a community. One of the things that we can possibly look at is by chance looking at how frequently we provide certain services. We've been here before. 2008, there was a state budget cut that affected the cities at that time. We looked at opportunities such as reducing the amount of times that we mowed certain medians along the roadways. How often did the parks and service people change trash cans on the weekends? Those are small things, but if you add them up over the course of multiple areas, they amount to a lot of dollars. So we have to look at frequency of services and what are those things that we can do away with or idle down as opposed to completely chop it off. Third thing that we probably want to look at is certain enterprise funds. Not all enterprise funds necessarily bring revenue back to the city. Is it an opportunity then to privatize those things like we've done before? Most people don't know this, but the Lakeland Regional Hospital was once an institution that was ran by the city, but it's now its own enterprise or its own separate entity. We've been here before, we can do it again, and I'm your guy to help you get through that, the malarkey. I'm sorry, I'm trying to say an Italian word. I'm your guy to help you get through the mess of all that, if you will. Thank you.
Thank you both very much. And by the way, the reason we asked these candidates these questions is that both of them have a lot of financial experience, and it's part of what they're running on. Part of the secret sauce I just spilled
He has
here.
more money than me though.
All right.
Well, hey, I need to borrow some of his campaign funds. DennisO'Deisho.com.
All right, and with that, you guys come on down, and we've got some mayoral candidates.
Ashley, I think my notes are in. Can you grab them for me? They're a stack of cards. Maybe I got them. Thank you. Sorry.
Alrighty, and apologies also, we know that it's really cold in here, and so we're gonna forgive our candidates if there's any teeth chattering, but we'll see if the hot seat can warm things up just a little bit. But before we put them in the hot seat, we are going to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves, and we are going to start with Kay Klimko.
Good evening, I'm Kay Klimko, and I have laryngitis, sorry. But tonight you have heard and will hear many different positions on issues currently facing our community. Some of you may agree with some and others not so much. The issues of today have no guarantee to be the issues of tomorrow. What is most important when you look at the candidates that stand before you tonight is your sense of the person they are. A person does not generally change in their overall approach to life, in their values, what they stand up for, and who they are willing to stand up to. When we talk about transparency and fiscal responsibility for the city, we must evaluate our candidates' performance. I venture to say the performance during the election is what we can expect in office. On public notice is how the commissioners have voted on important public matters, such as the recent vote that might have made it easier to sell off Lakeland Electric had it passed. On public notice are the sources and dollars raised to support the candidate campaigns and how the money has been spent. I have been a strong opponent to large campaign contributions and expenditures when there is such visible and serious need among our residents. Make no mistake, what you decide in your vote is whether to elect leaders who have the values and courage to speak truth to power in our city, leaders who will not permit economic growth at the expense of our community well-being, leaders who will not leave behind our vulnerable populations, leaders who will not sacrifice our environment and water source for the sake of convenience.
Thank you. And now Commissioner Sarah Roberts McCarley will just go down the table.
Well, thank you. My name is Sarah Roberts McCarley. I've had the honor and the privilege to serve the city of Lakeland for the last 6.5 years as the city commissioner for the Southwest District. I want to first thank the Lakeland Chamber of Commerce and the Politics in the Park Committee for putting on a great event, although it is freezing in here, and if my teeth chatter, it's because I'm numb. But I wanted to say thank you to all of our friends here in the audience for being engaged citizens. Over the last 6.5 years, I've had the pleasure of serving you all, and we've done that through COVID. I've done that through a lot of different crises that the city has faced, and I believe that the people with whom I serve have done a really good job, and I feel like that I have represented all the constituencies in the city of Lakeland as well as I could be and as thoughtfully as possible. Just so you know, I grew up, I was born at Lakeland General. I grew up in Davenport, went to Haines City High School, graduated from Florida Southern College, and my background professionally has been in the nonprofit sector. One of the highest components and highest priorities for me, not only is my family, but outside of my family, I was widowed in 2009 and formed a foundation in memory of my late husband. That foundation works to cultivate Florida's future leaders, and I'm happy to say that several of them have opted to volunteer with me here tonight. And our civic scholars are amazing, and they're their own leaders. I feel like my best job is to invest in the future, and I've done it professionally. I've done it as a volunteer. I will continue to do it regardless of how this race shakes out, because I love Lakeland, I love serving, and I love being a volunteer in the best community in the state of Florida. I hope you'll vote for me on November 4th.
Thank you. And next, Caitlin Gracie Kramer.
Hi, how's it going? My name is Caitlin Gracie Kramer. I'm 24 years old. I just recently graduated with a bachelor's degree in biology from USF Go Bulls. Throughout this process, I have said multiple times that I love to start off with saying, oh, I'm just happy to be here. And recently, that happiness has, it's been overwhelming within me, but it has turned into pride. I'm prideful to be here in front of you tonight and to help encourage people that are within my community to get more involved in local government. I am somebody who works within the service industry. That means that I get to meet and talk to people in all walks of life every single day, whether that be business owners, whether that be college students, retirees, parents, people within our community. I get their outreach every single shift, and it is something that I am very prideful of. Getting to talk to people within my community, getting to hear the things that they love, getting to hear the things that they are proud of and the things that they wish they could change has been something that has motivated me to stand in front of you today and to get to express to you the ways that I want to better our community around us. I am very thankful that I have had the opportunity at the young age that I am to get to show people that regardless of what your age is, regardless of what your races, regardless of what your economic status is or your education level. You have the opportunity to get involved in local government. You have the opportunity to have a seat at the table. And I hope that you vote for me on November 4th. Thank you.
And last but not least, Cedric Valerie.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's so good to be here, and thank you for your time as well. I love Lakeland, and I love the fact that we get to call this home together. When I say we, I believe in the team. I believe in leading from a team-based leadership perspective. That is, how do we do this together? When we win together, we celebrate. And when we're faced with challenges, we come together to find the resolve that we can agree on for the short term and the long term. I moved to Lakeland in 2002 to attend Southeastern College, now a university. I also teach there as a professor for the last 15 years, teaching courses like theology and leadership. Investing in the next generation is so important to me. So I think we do our best to continue to attract high-paying jobs so that young families as well as college graduates can meet the expectations of living costs. There's something about pouring into the next generation that's so important because they follow our lead and our example, not just what we say, but what we do and how we do it. I was asked not too long ago by a businessman, he said, so how do you see the kingdom? I'm unapologetically a follower of Christ, I'm centered on Christ, I am an ordained minister. He said, how do you see the kingdom and politics merging together? I said, sir, well, I look at politics from my angle as a public servant. I'm a servant first. I said, as a follower of Christ, I will be a faithful presence, I care, and I serve. And those go in tandem together as you take on city responsibility. That becomes personal accountability for me, as well as accountability for you. I think Lakeland has some great days ahead, and I want to continue to increase awareness to livability, that we enjoy where we live, work, and play, and that we get to do it together. Working in tandem with the realities of federal, state, and local government, I think we can do it. I'm Cedric Valerie, and I desire to be the next mayor of Lakeland.
I have to say before we get into the questions that all of these candidates have been doing really well with the time limits. We haven't had to bust out the hook once, and we would. All right, now we're going to do something a little bit different with this question because we have 3 candidates who have not been served in city government yet, and we have one who has. So I've got a question for the 3. We are going to start with Cedric Valerie, and then we'll skip over Commissioner Roberts McCarley and then come back to you. So, Mr. Valerie, the city government is pretty complex. Besides talking with residents, students, what have you done to study and prepare for the job of mayor?
Throughout this process, let me also say this. Throughout this process up to this point, I'm having fun, I'm learning a lot, and it's been amazing to face the complexities as they come each day. As I'm listening to different business leaders, I believe that it depends on working, it comes down to also working with our developers and saying, okay, where do we see the opportunity for growth? But as we grow, let's be mindful of residents who may be displaced. Oftentimes with growth and building, people are displaced, their gentrification takes place. So what about revitalization instead of gentrification? How are you as a developer not only coming in here to build, but how are you going to also invest in the city? I think that another aspect of that is that we have rolled out the red carpet to big business. Now, I'm a friend of business, and will continue to build strong partnerships with big business. But let's not continue to neglect or forget about small businesses, the mom and pop shops, that makes it the DNA of who we are as Lakeland. Let's also do what we can to help them along the way also. And so as we're listening, as I will continue to listen to the citizens as well as college students, I also will listen to the business leaders who call this home as well.
I'm I'm so sorry. I just want to bring you back to the question, studying and preparing to learn about city government. The question was, besides the students and the residents, what have you done to study and prepare to understand the city government?
Yeah, and I think I said business leaders as well. So before I got here tonight, I'd already knocked on about 200 doors. And a couple of those doors were retired city leaders who worked in water areas. And one of them said, hey, I'm going on 75 now, but I'm still strong and need something to do. I said, let's have coffee soon. Help me to understand the history from your perspective and how far we've gone. So that has to do with infrastructure as well, right? And lastly, with infrastructure, public safety infrastructure. Let's make sure that we continue to give our fire departments and our police department, law enforcement, what they need to continue to have teeth in the game.
All right, thank you so much. Same question to Caitlin Gracie Kramer, but let me repeat it because I want you guys to try to answer the question. City government is pretty complex. Lots of departments, lots of different moving parts. Besides talking with residents, what have you done to study and prepare for the job of mayor?
Thank you for that. Throughout my education, I have a bachelor's degree in biology. I understand the importance of going back through past documents and understanding the complex levels of things that have preceded us. Throughout my experience so far, I'm very thankful for the job that I have currently because I work 40 hours in 2.5 days, which is very compact, but it has given me the free time to study the city of Lakeland, to go back through past meetings, to go back through videos and logs and things like that from the past few years and understand everything that has been going on within our community. Besides the outreach that I've gotten from people within this community, I'm also very thankful for my education level because I have been grateful enough to take math classes with engineers. And that means that I have made many of those people my friends. And sometimes when I am sitting here brainstorming at the end of the day and I'm like, oh, what are things that we can do to improve our infrastructure? What are things that we can do to improve our city? I have the opportunity to just text people that at one point have been my closest friends and also my classmates and say, hey, you now have a professional career in things like civil engineering, computer engineering situations in which you are improving the quality of life of people around you. What would you do in this situation to make this better? And it is relationships like that that have helped feed into me to have the knowledge to help improve the community around us.
All right, thank you very much. Caitlin Co, one more time. City government is pretty complex. Besides talking with residents, what have you done to study and to prepare for the job of mayor?
I have spent my whole entire life preparing for this moment in time. I have worked in complex organizations and hospital administration, managing 4 levels of management, 400 employees. I have been a university professor, a director of a program at the university level, a research scientist, and written grants that have been successful. I've been a publisher, and I've operated a small business with my husband. So I feel this is a pivotal moment for you because the expertise that I bring in knowing community development, public health, and such is not present, that experience, in any of the candidates. And we are at a point right now where we have left people behind at the expense of economic development. We need to catch up. We need to take care of our people and put people first. We need to take care of our seniors, our young people, our vulnerable people, the homeless, the veterans, the people who are barely making it from one paycheck to the next. And I can provide that kind of resourcefulness and pulling organizations together, spearheading community development, working with the neighborhood associations. I know how to use organizations and make change happen. This is what I prepared for. I've also taken the Chamber of Commerce policy development course for future leaders. And that was maybe 3 years ago, because I've been running in 3 consecutive campaigns right along. So I have learned so much that has prepared me to be your mayor. I am a bubbly personality. I'm out there, I'm an extrovert, I'm resilient in the worst of times, I'm optimistic to the point of being called Pollyanna, and pushy by the men because I'm actually assertive.
All right. Commissioner Roberts McCarley, because you have already served and you have a very good knowledge of our city government as it exists right now, the question for you is there anything that you would have done differently in the past couple of years if you had been mayor?
Well, thank you for that question. And I'm really glad that you asked the question about city government complexity, because even when I was the executive director of Polk Vision, working with all 17 municipalities throughout the county, and working with the county on infrastructure issues like sidewalks and roads and water and wastewater and things like that, when I was elected as a city commissioner in 2019, I still felt like I was drinking from a fire hose. There's a lot of activity that goes on. In the past couple of years with regard to the city of Lakeland, we have seen a robust and high level of growth, many of which those projects started to come online in 16, 17, and 18. So it moves at a glacial pace sometimes, city government, all government, frankly. But from the last couple of years, one of the things that I've tried to work on internally at City Hall is really the infrastructure and the culture within City Hall and how we do elevate our game. How are we serving our customers? So I would work more diligently on how do we get to yes for all of our customers. If you're calling in with a light bill issue, if you're calling in with a water issue, if you're a developer calling in, we need to work to a point to get to yes. And that's one of the things I would encourage our staff to do continually, is have a positive attitude, a posture of helpfulness, which I believe they have, but I also don't know that they've always been encouraged to solve a problem with the first phone call. That's something that I would like to work on in the culture of City Hall. Another thing that I would do is really push on making sure that we do have equitable voices throughout the city of Lakeland, small business, big business, students, the elderly, everyone being able to come to the table. And I think we've done that, but I think we can do more. We can always do better when we know better.
Thank you very much. All right, this time it's the same question for everybody. And we are going to start with Kate Klimko. Memorial Boulevard is a major corridor in Lakeland. How would you work with the people who are already there to revitalize it and attract new investment?
I've been working with the neighborhoods in that area for the last number of years. I've attended the Davis Association neighborhood meetings, the Valencia meetings. I've been at the Coleman Bush building. I've worked with Save Our Children. I've been a member of NAACP. I've canvassed in that area, much to my son-in-law's chagrin, because his concern for my safety, and he's a firefighter. So I feel that the people there want very basics. The people want to have their light bulbs replaced so their children can walk safely to school. They're not interested in champagne type of changes that are visually enhanced along Memorial. Not that that can't be done, but I think we need to step back into 1-2 blocks over in the Northwest area and attend to renovate that particular area and replenish it.
Thank you. And now to Commissioner McCarley. Same question. Memorial Boulevard is a major corridor in Lakeland. How would you work with the people who are already there to revitalize it and attract new investment?
So thinking back to growing up on the east side of the county, we loved coming to Memorial Boulevard. When we were in our band competitions in middle school and junior high, we would come to Branscombe Auditorium and have our performances, and then we would go to Memorial, and we were able to park a bus in one place, and we could do McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Steak and Shake, Arby's, all in a row, safely park a bus, and then we could have all these 8th graders scatter safely. And so I have a memory of Memorial Boulevard that looks a little bit different than what we've seen here recently. When the Community Economic Development Department and the CRA passed a vision for that area, it does not innately mean that it's going to be a multi-million-dollar corridor. that vision is just to attract investors and people who already are there to think about how they might see it in a new way. And so I think sometimes we get hung up on a visual because we think that's exactly what's going to happen because the media said that was going to happen, and that's what's going to show up because that's what was presented. But really what it does is it opens up the time for ideas and for creativity. And so we do want to work with all the partners that are on that corridor. We want to make sure it's safe. We want to make sure that pedestrians don't get hit when they want to cross the road. We want to make sure that it's walkable. We want to make sure that we have healthcare and that we also have fast food and that we have livable places where families can live close proximity and be on a citrus connection route. So all of that connectivity is really important, and I think that casting the vision just opens up our design ideas and the creativity that we have and people who want to come and invest in Lakeland, but it doesn't mean that it has to be a channel side. It doesn't mean that it's going to be something where a private sector comes in and pours multi-millions of dollars in. It goes hand in hand with the neighbors that we already have there.
Thank you. Caitlin Gracie Kramer, same question. Memorial Boulevard, how do you balance the people who are already there and revitalize it and attract new investment?
I agree with Commissioner McCarley when it comes to talking to the people that are already involved within that community and understanding what they want and understanding the needs that they see fit within the community. And it also comes to talking to small business owners and encouraging people to see Memorial in a way that they haven't seen it previously. I also have heard a lot of discourse recently about them being concerned about new buildings opening up down that way regarding homeless populations. I challenge the idea that we have on the populations that we are most concerned about, because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want that within my community, I don't want that near my family. Why? Why do you not want to rally around the people that we need to rally around the most? We need to work towards providing better health care, mental health care specifically, to people like that. We need to work towards encouraging local business owners into getting involved in an area that they haven't currently been involved in. Our downtown is beautiful, but our downtown is beautiful for a reason, just because it's a booming area for business. It is a booming area for small businesses to go out and to create great livelihoods. If we reimagine the idea that we have for Memorial, and we encourage people to start putting their businesses there, and we make it a good opportunity for people to be able to travel there, for them to have the ease of walking areas like that, for them to have the ease of feeling comfort walking areas like that, it puts us in a position where that is now a larger part of our community that we can be proud of, that is something that we can work towards to make Lakeland a safer, more beautiful place for everyone.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Cedric Valerie. Mr. Valerie, Memorial Boulevard is a major corridor in Lakeland. What would you do, or how would you work with the people who are already there to revitalize it and attract new investment?
There it is. I'm a voice who will put Lakeland first. I think there's a culture that we are kind of overlooking, that is the homeless population. What if we did something for that community in that sector, where we bring developers together to help serve that community as well? I know we're not trying to make it as lavish as other sectors, so maybe that's a way that we look at how can we help those who want the hand up and the help out of their situation. The other part of the reality is this. You asked earlier about what have you done. I believe in leaning on the wisdom of the local experts to help us navigate any challenge that we have. I've been doing that since I started this campaign, for those who are retired and for those who currently work for the city, and asking them what do they see. You know, one of our realities is our millage rate. We're at a 5.4323 right now. And all of that services are schools, fire department, as well as LPD. These are services that we need and will continue to have. And we have to ask ourselves, are we taking care of our schools? Are we taking care of our fire departments? Are we taking care of LPD? And maybe we look at and we say, all right, if we do not do what we need to do in the long run to continue to stay future focused and for our city, what services do we need to give up in order to make that happen? And so let us keep in mind that it's all about the people. And I'm all in the business about bringing people together to build a better Lakeland. I got into this race not because of ego or power trip. I believe it was a mandate from God Almighty to step out in obedience, to put the people first. I will be the culture in chief to remind the people that we're here and we're in this together. It is not about rich or poor, black or white, educated and uneducated. It is about us as Lakelanders here and now and what we're going to leave for the next generation. I'm Cedric Valerie, and I want to be the next mayor of Lakeland.
All right. We are in the fortunate position of having time for a third question for these folks before we let them get off the not that hot seat in the air conditioning. So final question, and we are going to start with Caitlin Gracie Kramer this time. We have several universities in Lakeland. How would you encourage the best and brightest students to stay here after they graduate?
I love starting with this because I am one of these people, right? I just recently graduated from USF. I'm very lucky that I got the opportunity to go to a public university. That is what I could afford, and I got good scholarships through educational programs like Florida Bright Futures. As far as retaining college students here in Lakeland, I think that we need to look towards making sure that we have good internship programs in place and make sure that we provide a stable place here in Lakeland that is not just a stepping stone, but is a cornerstone to where they want to build their lives. We want to make sure that the college students that come here and enjoy their college experience here love the city long enough that they want to then build their families here. They want to invest back into businesses here. They want to start their own businesses here. Retaining these people and encouraging them to get involved in local government, encouraging them to get involved in local economy is the foundation of making sure that our city is something that we can keep going for generations. That is the business in everything. Making sure that Lakeland can retain the youth and making sure that we have a future generation is ensuring that our legacy is something that goes on for generations past us.
Thank you. Commissioner McCarley, the brain drain, how do we keep these bright students here?
Well, I think it's a great question. As I said earlier, through the Randy Roberts Foundation, I work to cultivate Florida's future leaders to understand local, state, and federal government, but also how to be involved and how to access it. And that it is accessible, and that most of us as elected officials are as only good as our constituents. If our constituents are not providing feedback and asking questions, it's hard for us to know how to solve issues. But with regard specifically to the brain drain, I do believe one of the things when I came into the city commission was I pushed really hard on more than summer internships. So for years and years and years, City of Lakeland had summer internships, which is great because we have students that go off to college and come back home and they want to apply for these internships and work here. But I asked, why don't we have your internships year round? We have Southeastern University, we have Florida Southern College, we have several colleges and universities, we have USF. Why can't we have students who are here in the fall and spring when they have housing at their dorms or through their apartments? Why can't they stay, or why can't they do that internship during their academic year? So we've worked really diligently through our HR department to do that. The Citrus Connection is something that I also am very passionate about and serve at the pleasure as being a city commissioner. We have a robust, because of Tom Phillips and his team there, a robust internship program that are attracting and getting students to come and really consider a future in public service and a future in being involved in city government. That we need biologists, we need economists, we need business people, we need all sorts of majors to come, and we need trades too. We need everything to make this city run, and I've worked diligently over the last 6 years to make sure that they have the opportunity, they know the opportunities here, and that we certainly don't want to have them move away when they finish their education.
Thank you. Kate Klimko, how would you encourage the best and brightest students to stay after they graduate?
We have colleges, we have, the four-year colleges, we have two-year programs, we have trade schools. I think brain drain can come from any of those areas. And I see some of our biggest providers in the area for employment, which are really up and coming, is our new hospital, right, and its health services. and what they're going to need for support from our local population. I think we have to identify and do that kind of needs assessment in our major businesses and health services area. And then we have to look at the programs that we currently have and offer them opportunities for internships in the hospitals, in the health service areas, and upskill. We have the chamber who has also done a recent study, and they're very interested, our businesses, in upskilling their current employees. So we don't want to get a brain drain from our businesses either. We need to make the liaisons with our colleges for our current employees and making sure they're getting access to resources where they can earn better wages. So this is how I would tackle it. Needs assessment, identify the problems, and fill the gaps.
Thank you. So here to Valerie, what would you do to encourage the best and brightest students to stay here after they graduate?
You know, when I think of the best and brightest, I not only think about them academically, if they made an A on their transcript or not, but what about those students who work well with their hands? Does anyone out there remember this old house? There are certain areas that we still need hands-on workers in the areas of electricians, roofers, plumbers, construction workers. Some of these trades are dying. And we have men and women who are expert right here in Lakeland who are just ready to pass on that knowledge and skill set to the next generation. I say we gather these people together and we find the young men and women who not only want to do this, but they're ready and hungry. They have a voracious appetite to learn. And we let these old-timers lay it on them. Let them learn the history of Lakeland. Let them learn how to time management, to know where to go, when to do it, to know about service and parks. I think that when it comes to leaning on the local experts, that's not only for government, but that's in the realities of all of our lives. Because there's someone who's been there, and there's someone who's trying to get there. And you marry that together, that makes for success. And so when we talk about college students, that's great. I'm a college professor, but let's not forget about those who do not desire to go to college, nor are they even interested in it, but they want to do something hands-on. And what about LPD? Let's bring more strong, qualified LPD guys who are ready. Okay, some of them have gone to college, some of them don't want to, but they want to serve their community in that way. I think one of the first things I would do is create a listening tour and bring in the experts who are retired and who are doing the art that they love, and they're willing to share it, and find students who want to do that, as well as those who live in Lakeland who desire to do that and say, hey, here's a way, here's how you can feed your family, live, work, and play in Lakeland.
Thank you. All right, guys, we are in the enviable position of having about 10 minutes. So here's what I'm going to do. Commission candidates, can you please take the hot seat again? We are going to have time for a few, maybe 3 audience questions. Because we don't have a traveling mic, I'm going to ask a few brave souls to come up here and lay it on them. But if it is for a specific candidate, if there's somebody who you really want to know something about, we don't have time for all 8 people to answer your question. So be specific about the race or the candidate, something that is going to help you decide who to vote for if you're on the fence. Who in here is on the fence about at least one of these races? You haven't decided yet who you're voting for. Oh my goodness, we have a committed crowd. There is not a single undecided in the house. Oh, all right, come on down. We have an undecided voter. You see. Oh, and maybe we can grab the green mic.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for being so brave. Don't worry, we got you. Which race do you want to focus on?
I would like to focus on the commissioner race.
The mayor race? The commissioner race
Commissioner.
between Mike Music and Kimberly Noble, or Dennis Odisho and Ashley Troutman?
Both of them, I do live in the district that music and Noble are. But I do have many friends that are in Troutman's and Risha's district. I loved everything you guys had to say. What made me be on the fence is when we talk about business, a major business here in Lakeland, as you know, is Avello Airlines. They are the only airline in our city operating. Our city provides a marketing budget of $30,000 per year. However, many constituents here in Lakeland feel that Avello, because of their contract with ICE, even though those operations, deportation flights are not happening in Lakeland, a lot of people are concerned that we have in our city a company that is benefiting from deportation business. And many people feel like even though they do think we should have deportations, that we have a business here that's profiting, that is a bloody business, that this money we give is blood money, even though it's only $30,000 for marketing, which I understand is not in the bucket. Are you open? Oh yeah. So that's the background info. Are you open to ending the marketing subsidy for Avello if you are reelected or if you are elected for next term?
I've got the mic, so I will go ahead and answer that. You know, I'm not going to control a business, and if they have a contract with our government and it's a legitimate contract to do something, I don't know that I would hold that against them. I am a big fan of Avello. My wife and I flew on the very first flight. I hope that we continue to get more flights from both Avello but other airlines. But also, I'm in the roofing business. I am in the minority employee business. I mean, I have people that will come to us and I can't hire them because they don't have their paperwork in. So I'm torn on that. I want there to be legitimate direction for those that are looking for citizenship. And again, we're city commissioners, we don't deal with that. That's such a high level. So you're asking specifically about
The
Avello.
marketing budget.
Yeah, you're asking specifically about Avello's marketing budget. I mean, to me, at this point, if the city of Lakeland looks at that and says, hey, we don't want to be in that muddy water, we would like to go ahead and remove that, I would be for that.
Same, I would take that marketing money and put it towards the people here that actually need it. So, no, I would not go for that marketing money for Avello. Take it away.
First of all, thank you for the question and your bravery for even asking the question. So I know that took a lot. I can see the emotion of you coming up here to ask the question.
Thank you. I was not planning to talk today.
So thank you for doing that. It takes, what I hope you feel is that this space is a space where people with different ideas can come forward and be heard, right? Regarding your question, however, I've walked through different difficult situations in a public forum before. I'm walking through one of them right now still to this day. The key for me oftentimes is to have the information before making the decision. So without the information, I can't say today that I would be willing to pull the subsidy. However, there's an opportunity to be heard. Just like you were here today to be heard, I'm willing to have an opportunity for people with that different opinion to be heard and to find out the reality of the situation to see if there's merit in pulling the money as you suggested.
Yeah, I mean, I see no issue with the city pulling the money, right? I mean, Avello's a big company, they can handle it, and that money could be used better served to other purposes within the city. And listen, this is a tough subject, man. I mean, I'm the son of a first-generation American. My father came here from northern Iraq back in, the early 1900s. My father had me at 53, so he's quite old when he had me. But you won't outwork that first generation of American, right? And they are critical to our success. In my industry, completely critical. And since we've had these laws, and I'm a man of law and order, believe me, if it's on the books, I'm going to follow it to a T. But I also see the other side of the story, and you're a very compassionate person, which I can tell right off the bat. And we're all subject to the same federal laws. And even though I disagree with the way it's been done, I respect the laws on the books. And for me, again, Avail is a big company. They'll be fine without that $30,000 from the city, and I think the city can repurpose that money and put it somewhere where it's needed.
My name's Magdalene. Thank you so much for
Can we have a round of
Thank
applause?
you.
So I misspoke. We do not have time for more audience questions, but what we will do once we wrap up here is let you guys approach these very approachable people one-on-one.
Thank you, Cindy. Hello, I'm Trinity Lorino. I'm Executive Director of Lakeland Now. So I'm here just to close out the event, but I want to say thank you. Actually, first I want to say thank you to all of our candidates. This is a huge thing. To run for office and subject yourself to all of these questions. If there is anyone who's still undecided or wants to do a little bit more research on the candidates, we do have, Lakeland Now does have a voter guide that's compiled a lot of the information into one place. You can also find information about where, when, how to vote, and you can also find a very good explainer on the 3 ballot amendments that are also on, are going to be on the ballot for the election this year that Ms. Cindy herself wrote. So if you've got questions about that, please check out our voter guide at lakelandnow.com. I also want to thank Anna for her amazing timekeeping over here. Cindy for her masterful moderation. And I really wanted to thank our partners at the Lakeland Chamber of Commerce, Amy and Nicole and Cassia. You've all been amazing to work with. Thank you for letting us come into your event. And on behalf of the Lakeland Chamber of Commerce and Lakeland Now, we want to do a special thank you, of course, to our presenting sponsor, Orlando Health, Watson Clinic, Lakeland Highlands Hospital. Again, to the candidate reception sponsor, the Sun Papers, our gold sponsor, Boron Fire Protection. I know Josh is here tonight with his family. And our patron sponsor, Bank of Central Florida. And of course, our live stream sponsor, Citrus Connection. We also want to thank Grace for their earlier catering for the candidate reception. And obviously, most of all, thank you all for being a part of this important conversation. And now go, have a wonderful evening.
Make sure you vote. Get everybody you know to vote now.
Get out, that's right.
Out.